Okay, let's just get right into it. Having a single AI agent write some Python code or summarize your weekly sync is great. But what happens when you need it to run an entire department? That is the exact shift we are dissecting today. Welcome to this explainer. We are looking at the absolute most explosive shift in enterprise AI right now, which is multi-agent orchestration. We are officially moving away from relying on isolated single assistants and moving directly into deploying coordinated multi-agent AI workforces.
And we really need to emphasize that we aren't talking about some theoretical projection for 2030. 600, that number is live right now.
Precisely. There is a company called Hexaware, and they are literally running an entire department using 600 coordinated AI agents in a live production environment. So that is not one AI trying to do 600 different things. It is 600 networked agents actively delegating tasks and completing really complex workflows from end to end.
Right, which immediately begs the obvious question. Why is one AI agent not enough? I mean, models like Claude, Gemini, GPT-5, they are already incredibly powerful. So why go through the headache of building this complex orchestration layer for 500 agents instead of just giving one really smart agent all the instructions?
Well, to understand the stakes of building the operating system for autonomous AI, here is our roadmap for the explainer. First, we will hit the single agent ceiling. Second, the 4-layer architecture.
Third, orchestration patterns and frameworks. Fourth, interoperability and production wins. And finally, the governance moat.
Starting with Section 1, the single agent ceiling, let's break down where things start to fall apart.
The reality of the engineering mechanics is that even the best single agents hit 4 really hard ceilings in enterprise workflows. First up is context window saturation. If you feed an agent 10 massive earnings reports plus live market data, its attention span just degrades rapidly. Second is tool fatigue. You give a single agent more than 15 tools, and its accuracy in actually picking the right one just plummets.
Right, and then the third is lack of specialization. A model that is heavily fine-tuned to write snappy marketing copy is probably going to write absolutely terrible Python code.
And fourth, and honestly, this is the big one, unreliable single-pass execution.
Exactly.
Because if one agent hallucinates in step 1, it just carries that error all the way to the end because there is zero verification happening. But when you introduce a division of labor through a multi-agent team, it solves all 4 of those ceilings perfectly, just like in a human organization.
Which brings us to Section 2, the 4-layer architecture that actually builds an AI workforce.
Every serious 2026 multi-agent system uses this exact blueprint. Layer 1 is perception and input. That is your trigger, like an incoming customer email. Layer 2 is the orchestration layer. You really want to think of this as your indispensable project manager. It acts as the central brain, breaking down tasks and routing them.
Then you move to Layer 3, which is the specialized agent layer. These are the actual workers equipped with highly specific tools.
And Layer 4 seals the deal. Feedback and validation. These are verifier agents dedicated to checking the work, applying self-healing logic, and retrying if something fails. If you do not have that orchestration layer acting as the router and applying those guardrails, you don't actually have a system. You just have a bunch of bots shouting into the void.
Moving right along to Section 3, patterns and frameworks, the actual orchestration blueprint.
So how do we actually organize these teams? There are 5 main topologies. The hierarchical pattern is essentially a supervisor delegating to workers. It is highly predictable, making it fantastic for strict enterprise tasks like marketing campaigns. Then we have graph-based, which allows paths to loop and branch based on conditional states for those really complex workflows. Peer-to-peer is purely conversational. It lets agents debate an issue without a central boss dictating the flow.
And for the simpler stuff, sequential is basically a linear handoff. Think of it like a factory assembly line. And finally, swarm. This is highly dynamic, where agents just self-organize on the fly. Swarm is amazing for open-ended exploratory research, but frankly, it is an absolute nightmare to control in production right now.
Now, for the software building these patterns, here is your 2026 Framework Showdown. If you are dealing with complex, stateful workflows and you need built-in checkpointing and time travel debugging, LangGraph is your best bet. If your goal is fast prototyping, CrewAI gets you there quickest with its role-based abstractions.
Now, on the enterprise side, if you need strict governance and compliance at massive scale, Google ADK is the heavyweight in the room. And AutoGen is fantastic for conversational problem solving, especially when you need human-in-the-loop Azure integration. Ultimately, the choice really just comes down to your existing stack and how much customization you need.
Let's get into the real-world stuff in Section 4, interoperability and production wins at real enterprise scale.
For these frameworks to be viable, the agents need to actually talk to our tools efficiently. Enter MCP, the Model Context Protocol. You can think of this as the universal USB-C for AI.
Hopefully a USB-C where we don't immediately lose the dongle.
Exactly. Before MCP existed, connecting a model like Claude or GPT-5 to Salesforce meant you had to write bespoke glue code for every single model. It was a mess. Now, any MCP-compatible agent connects to any MCP server instantly. It dramatically reduces the integration burden and makes these agents genuinely portable.
Okay, but what about agents talking to other companies' agents? That is where A2A, or the agent-to-agent protocol, comes in. And the implications here are just staggering. Picture this: a Claude agent operating securely inside your firm, authenticating and collaborating directly with a Gemini agent in your client's firm. It completely crosses organizational walled gardens. We are literally watching the foundation of an inter-organizational agent economy being built in real time.
And this absolutely pays off economically. Look at Fountain. They are a hiring platform, and they built a hierarchical multi-agent hiring funnel. They have one agent screening resumes, another one scheduling the interviews, another verifying the documents, and they all report up to one supervisor agent.
And the result of that? A 50% increase in screening speed. And we need to be clear, that is not some controlled benchmark test. That is real operational speed saving actual money.
Which brings us directly to the core thesis of this entire explainer. The agents themselves are a commodity. The orchestration is the moat.
Right, because everyone has access to the exact same foundation models now. Your true competitive advantage is entirely in how you organize those models into reliable, problem-solving systems.
Which perfectly sets up Section 5, the governance moat. This is how you protect the enterprise. We really have to ground the hype in enterprise reality here. There is a brutal statistic from Deloitte. 74% of enterprises fully expect to use agentic AI by 2027, but only 21% have mature governance frameworks today.
And that gap right there is what we call the operational kill zone. If you deploy a multi-agent system without strict governance, all it takes is one runaway agent making a very expensive, very public mistake, and your entire project gets shut down immediately.
To survive that, you absolutely need 4 layers of governance. First is policy as code. These are hard, machine-readable rules enforcing exactly what agents are allowed to spend or access. Second is anomaly detection to instantly spot if an agent starts behaving unusually. Third is human-in-the-loop overrides. You need the ability to just hit pause on high-stakes workflows. And fourth, guardian agents. This is fascinating. It's specialized AI whose only job is to watch and verify the behavior of other AI agents. Ultimately, mature governance is what makes the difference between an AI deployment lasting 10 years or failing spectacularly in 10 weeks.
So, as everyday knowledge work shifts from simply doing repetitive tasks to actually managing and architecting AI teams, you are the one stepping into the role of the architect. Think about it. What specific workflow in your own daily routine would you automate right now today if you had 5 coordinated agents at your disposal? The multi-agent workforce is not some distant sci-fi concept for 2030. It is being orchestrated and deployed right now. Thanks so much for joining us on this explainer. We hope it gave you a new lens on where things are headed.
Catch you next time.